Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're actually working on not a car, but my toolbox. You guys might be wondering, well, why do you need to work on your toolbox? Well, I've actually been staring at some new toolboxes at Lowe's and Matco, and I even checked out some at Sears with their Craftsman toolboxes. I'll say one thing, the Craftsman toolboxes have kind of gone downhill in quality, and the Lowe's ones actually, from what I saw during Black Friday, they actually had improved their toolboxes a lot. Like, they have a lot of new, like, they don't just have the standard stainless toolbox that they've had for like the last 5 or 6 years. You know, they have some smaller toolboxes with power ports and USB charging. A few of them had the radio, but to me the standout toolbox was actually their smaller toolbox that was in like a neon green. It's almost kind of the Mopar 70s color that they had. But I just was kind of really impressed. I had no idea that Lowe's was even getting into that like toolbox market, because honestly they've kind of have had their super extensive stainless toolboxes like the one I have behind me, and they're kind of just their smaller Craftsman type that are like $100, $200. They haven't had anything in the middle. And like I said, on Black Friday I checked out a few of those and I was really impressed. So I'm not in the market for a new toolbox. I mean, I have filled this thing up, but I've got plenty of other storage around the shop. So as you guys can see, I've got stuff everywhere. But I don't really need a toolbox. I just saw one upgrade that they had done to the boxes, and actually to this model itself. The improvement that they made on this model toolbox was actually they put a hole with an access port cover going through the toolbox. So what that would allow you to do would be to run your power cord through the toolbox, out the back and down to the side to where the charging port is. So I was like, well, that's kind of cool. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, because right now, guys, if I want to charge my working light and I want to close my toolbox, I can't, because I actually would have to have a cord. This cord's pretty thin, so it might close. But if I've got a thicker charging cable than this, the door actually won't close because there's no access ports to the back of this toolbox. So I was like, that's actually pretty cool. I wouldn't mind, just adding an access port. Then I actually saw another upgrade that the new toolboxes had. I was like, ooh, I want to do that. So this is kind of two modifications in one. One is going to be cutting a hole through this toolbox, through the back and the back door, and adding, an access port. The second is actually over here. So Lowe's actually sells a magnetic strip, and what this will allow me to do is actually put a power supply inside the toolbox. As you guys can see, it's magnetic, so it'll stick to the back of the toolbox. I'll be able to put my charging cord right here, and I'll be able to charge anything within the toolbox and still have room to grow, So I could charge my work light, I could charge a handheld drill, anything cordless that needs a charger. Oh, and another thing, this power cord actually has a USB charger on the end. So I don't have to sit out here and go run inside and go grab another charger. I could just have it plugged into the USB and bam, my cell phone's charging while I'm out here working on the cars. So kind of another thing that I was like, that's pretty cool. And actually my local Lowe's did not have the power strip. They were sold out. I think they only had a very limited supply. But so you should be able to find that locally, but if you can't, I'll have a link in the description below to the power strip or a similar model. But also I'll have a link to this. Now, I did buy these online. These are actually pass-through portholes that allow you to run a power cable, through it. And I got these on Amazon. They were fairly cheap. I mean, I think I got 3 of them for $5 or $6. And these are, I believe it's 2 3/8 in diameter. And I actually went and bought a hole saw that's the same size. So I'm going to use 2 of these, one on each side of the toolbox, on the inner and outer part. And this is how we're going to pass through the power cord outside into the power charging station. So I don't have a lot of money in this, but this will help update my toolbox to like the latest and greatest of what the guys are doing with Lowe's and Matco with having power stations and stuff inside the toolbox. So let's get started. All right, guys, you can't really see it, but here's gonna be my spot to drill the circle at. Because when I was at the store, I actually kind of measured out with my hand of how far up and how far over from the speaker was. And their hole in the store was actually, you could actually touch the wires. So I didn't want to risk it. So I'm actually gonna have the hole about here. So what I have done is actually grabbed a 2 3/8 hole saw. And as you can see, it's the same diameter as this plug, this portal plug, office desk plug, whatever you want to call it. It's the same diameter, so this will snap in once I get this hole drilled. And I've had this Lennox hole saw adapter for a while. You just got to change out the fitting and the drill. As you guys can see, I've got other hole saw sizes. And you just change out the drill size and we should be good to go. And to make this a little bit easier, guys, I'm actually going to drill a pilot hole. Alright guys, you'll notice I stepped up to an actual real drill, and let's get this thing started. Alright guys, so we got our first hole. Let's put it in. There you go. There's the cover, and should be good. So let's go ahead and drill the backside and we'll be done with this. Alright guys, so as you can see, I already drilled the pilot hole through it. So what I'm going to do is go around the backside and actually drill the hole this way. That way everything is lined up. Alright guys, there you go. We got a hole through both sides. Alright guys, that's basically going to be the finished product. I put the cap in here. As you can see, it goes all the way through to the back. And you can see here in the back, I've got access as well. So we pretty much have a full access portal to run a power line through the toolbox. That worked out pretty well. Alright guys, so let's feed the power cord through. Alright guys, so there you go. I've got the pass-through done. I've got the power strip that I wanted. And it's got its own on-off power switch. And over here, I've got some USB ports. Alright, so I have now plugged the power strip into the side of the toolbox. Let's see if this strip works. Alright, we got power. Then let's make sure the charger for one of my work lights, let's make sure this stuff works. So, plug it in. Turn it on. Plug this end in. There you go. I now have... The LED is kind of hard to see, but there you go, there you can see it. So I now have a working charging port for my tools and whatnot, and I should be able to close the toolbox and it keep charging. So let's step back. Alright, so we're outside the toolbox. Let's make sure everything's still... And there you go. As you can see, I can let this charge overnight, close my box. Alright guys, now if I had actually worked in a shop where I had to lock up my toolbox, yeah, I would have done this a long time ago, or something even worse, just drill a hole and run the cable and you're good. But I've been wanting to do this for a while to this toolbox, to update it, kind of get it into the latest and greatest. The only other thing that this toolbox doesn't have that the other model, the newer model has, is more charge ports on the side. Now this toolbox only has a power cable center on the side of the bottom. It doesn't have one on the top. Now, the new model has one for both. It's got a power cable center, a power strip on the side. It also has one on the top, like I said. That might be something future I want to look into, but I actually looked into buying the power strip like for this model, for the new model, and even to try to find those caps that are the correct size. Lowe's doesn't sell it. Like Kobalt, I called in, they don't sell any replacement parts for this toolbox, so it's kind of bad. I think the only thing they sold were the clips for the end of the trays for the drawers. But as you guys can see, I now have a fully working charging upper bay for my toolbox, and we can charge tools and cell phones and things overnight, or even when I'm out here filming and working on the Corvette and the SS or whatnot. So I think this is a pretty good, easy mod that you guys could do to your toolbox. It doesn't have to be a Kobalt toolbox, it could be any kind of toolbox, but you know, like I said, I've got maybe $25 in this thing total. So it's a real cheap and easy mod, and helps update your stuff. You know, that way you don't have to go out and spend another $2,000, $2,000 on a toolbox, you know, when you can just do a few easy mods and, you know, update how these toolboxes work. So I'm going to wrap things up here. If you guys like the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. Thanks and have a great day.